All right, guys. So this week in the editing tutorial, we are taking a look at this week's video, vlog number 2, Godly Imagination. I've already posted this video. Generally, I was going to try to get into the habit of watching it back prior to uploading it, but this one was a little bit close as far as like the week goes, and I just uploaded it and went. So here we are a couple days later, and I'm just going to break down a little bit of my thoughts on this video, not masterpiece. Let's get into it. Bada bing, bada boom. When people listened to Jesus' parables, were they actively imagining the scenes that he described, or were they so absorbed in his words that their minds stayed focused and still? That is a question that I've been asking myself all of last week. I was asking myself, man, like, what were the people thinking whenever Jesus was talking to them? Like, what was their headspace like? Were they imagining the things that he was talking about? Um, yeah. So I really wanted to incorporate this at the very beginning of the video. I know analytic wise, everything on YouTube says that I probably shouldn't have done it that way, but it's really what began me thinking about this concept for this video, and like really beginning to like, once I thought about that, I was like, okay, I actually do this a lot. Like, I think about these types of things a lot, and it should be a video. So yeah, that's how we got here.
You're under my skin, trying to fix me again. Nowhere left to begin. I'm a broke down boy.
The world has told us that we need to lose our imagination, and when I think back about my life, I think I'm right there with everyone. I've lost my imagination until recently. The only things that I can ever recall imagining were things of this world, like new cars and big vacations and new clothes and, all of the things that the world says that we need. And as I was making this video, I didn't realize how much like I'm in my imagination now. And I think that's been a part of my journey of growing closer to the Lord. But I'm having a full circle moment, because when I was thinking about imaginations, I was thinking about all the things I just said, plus.
Okay, bam. Two things about this. One, my mic was not working this entire video. So I shot all of this holding that little lav mic, my little mic setup. My desk is a mess. My little mic setup. I was holding it the whole entire time and the mic wasn't working, which is extremely frustrating. I shot the whole video in 720. So that was frustrating, and I almost ended up scrapping all of this. But I think, like, again, like, as I was like sitting in this and like, man, like, my imagination's running wild, I felt like in this moment I was able to describe it probably better than if I was to do a reshoot. um I really like that beginning opening song too. Just, it was like that song was just hitting.
My job, and it was always a dream of mine to be able to work full-time as a creative. And as I'm sitting here today, I'm getting ready to go shoot a video shoot. So the old saying, if you can dream it, you can achieve it. And I think it's like, if God gives it to you, just trust that it's gonna happen. Like, he gave me that seed, and I didn't even trust ever that I would ever be here. So that's what I'm working on today. Gotta go knock out this video shoot and hopefully not lose myself in my imagination.
Flowers that bloom wind up at the bottom of the ocean. And you, baby, recognize the pain that you put me through.
I probably like, if this would have been 2 or 3 years ago, I would have overshot that, and instead I undershot it. I got home and I told my wife, I'm like, man, like I started this video and I completely undershot it. Especially even for that song. But I think it kind of like ended up working to get me here into this next scene. I don't get in the pool very often. In fact, I think since we've lived here, I've only swam like 3 times. But it was kind of cool. I really like this shot. Other than like my drawers being messy on the right, which could have a little bit of symbolism. That's what I'm calling it because my life right now, as far as like the cleanliness of my workspace in my room, is like at an all-time low. But I liked how this shot was set up, and quite frankly, I think maybe I might even end up changing the thumbnail to this shot now that I'm having this. Now that I'm re-seeing it. Oh, oh. Let's keep going. Genuine voices there. Does the hustle and bustle of life make our imaginations dull?
Is this childlike imagination something that I'm finding because I have space and time to allow it?
Is this a godly thing, and is it biblical? So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but what is unseen. Since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. If you hear a bunch of background noise, it's because my daughters are currently in the middle of a back-to-school pool party, and there's like 10 or 15 little girls running around my house right now. So say a prayer for the Reed. Back-to-school party was a hit. It was insane. We had tons of little girls running around my house. I think that they did not go to bed until like 3 or 4 a.m., which is to be expected when you have that many little girls at your house running around. But I somehow was able to record this video with very little background noise. A prayer for me and my wife. If you're wondering if this past week, if I was able to get into the Word of God more than the week prior, the answer is yes. Yes, I was. But I wasn't able to do it quite as much as I wanted because I spent a lot of time in my godly imagination. That mic still is not working, which is super annoying. But yeah, I was not able to necessarily read more. Our church meets in homes, and it's more like a Bible study than a church group. And this week, like this Sunday after I refilmed this, when we gathered, we discussed 4 chapters. So technically, it would have normally only been 2. So technically, I did read more. But like just actual seat time, it did not happen quite as much as I would have liked. And you see, like once a month at our church, we do a first Sunday service, which is like a traditional church service where our pastor gets up and he preaches. And in that service, he said something that struck me. It hit me. I was like, ooh, that's good. Not like a, ooh, that's good, pastor. Yeah, that's good. Like a, ooh, like I relate to that so much. I'm going to play that clip right now, and then we'll pick back up on the other side.
But one day you will stand before the Lord, and he will judge you accordingly. And this is why we need to understand that we have a fearful responsibility, because my greatest worry as I'm rising up to meet the Lord in the sky to go home is that I'm going to meet him face to face, and he's going to give me a big hug, and he's going to say, well done, Andy. And then he's going to tell me, what about this guy? Why didn't you ever mention this to your friend? Why didn't you ever say this to your family? Why didn't you ever say this to your neighbor? My fear is that one day, when I get there, I'll see the people that I knew that I never had the boldness to preach the gospel to, heading the other direction. Because one day, God will stand on the harvest floor, and he'll separate the wheat from the chaff. And there will be people that go one way, and there'll be people that go the other. Good people don't go to heaven. Saved people do.
I think this... I am so thankful that I sit under Pastor Andy's leadership, because he never, he shows us these visions sometimes, which obviously are biblical and obviously are his opinion. Sometimes they're his opinion, but they're always biblical. They're always backed by scripture. But more so, they leave so much room for your own imagination and then your own ability to like go and search it for yourself. So like even in that, like I'm sitting in service and I'm like visualizing this happening, and I'm like, man, like as he's speaking, like I'm literally there with him. And I haven't been to a ton of churches, but the previous churches that I went to, I never visualized it. I was always just there like taking it in, but never like the next step. Never did I want to go back to scripture and be like, oh, I need to learn more about this, or I want to know more about this, or what did this mean, or like sitting in there and being like, man, I can imagine being in heaven right now and seeing this happening. This is terrible. This is bad. And then like, he closes it then and he's like, good people don't go to heaven, saved people do. And so often that's what I hear is like, man, like I'm a good person, I'm gonna go to heaven. It's like, no, dude, like you're not. It's terrible. So I'm just super thankful for Pastor Andy and his leadership, and yeah.
This is what sparked it. I think this was the clip. It was in this moment when I heard this sitting in service that I was like, wow, dude, what all these imagination running wild that I've had for years is normal. Now, I haven't directly envisioned what he spoke about being in heaven and seeing our loved ones fall, but like I do envision heaven. I do envision myself being there. I do envision like what it was like living with Jesus and being in the shoes of people that were around him. Like I've envisioned all of that. And so this past week, as I was out in the field, what you saw at the beginning of the video looked pretty much like a normal day for me this week. I was in the car a lot. I had a ton of seat time, which means I had a lot of time with the Lord, quiet time with the Lord. And I was just like, Lord, man, I have been in this position where I am like meditating and thinking about heavenly, godly things, and no one in my past life has ever told me that this was a part of the process. And I'm just still so grateful to be able to sit here today and be like, what you showed me, that seed that you sowed to me so many years ago, I'm living right now. And it took like all of this, I think I said at the beginning of the video, to come full circle for me to like hit me like a freight train and be like, wow, like you were working the entire time. Check this out. My camera broke this week. Dropped.
Just to piggyback on that, I don't think I did a well enough job of trying to research godly imagination prior to making this video, but I can almost guarantee you that because the research that I did do, like there's very little on it. And I could probably spend another 8 or 10 videos just specifically talking about that, and maybe one day I will like dive deeper into it, because we're about to talk about it, but it is biblical, and it is something that that started happening to me about 2 years ago. I started to get these vivid imagination sessions, daydreams, call them daydreams, whatever. When your eyes are fixed towards heaven, you start seeing heavenly things, and that's what started happening.
Off a tripod. I'm week 2 of the vlog, and I'm already breaking cameras. This bad boy's been with me since day one. And now it's going to be an ornament on my Christmas tree this year. The old Nikon D5100. She's busted.
When we worship God with our own intellect, it often limits our experience to what we can reason and understand. Our imagination allows us to experience God in ways that go beyond our analytical mind. It helps us envision the beauty, the glory, and the mysteries of God. Through imagination, we can glimpse heavenly realities, cultivate a sense of awe and wonder, and open ourselves up to the fullness of God's presence.
Spiritual imagination is... Wait, I didn't even finish that. Wait, let's go back just a little bit. That right there, okay. Like, those little sequences are the reason why my vlogs, these videos, take me a little bit longer than they should. Because, like, constructing this, I told my wife, like, I want to look back on these one day and be like, like, I want to speak to an audience also, but like I really want to see like what I'm thinking internally and like what I've come to a conclusion of, and I'm trying to talk to myself in these moments. So if I ever do these dips in the audio, and I don't necessarily love the telephone voice, and maybe that'll try to, maybe at one point this telephone voice will turn into something else, but like as of right now, this telephone voice is like me kind of like talking to myself or like confirming to myself through God that like whenever I worship in my own intellect,
When we worship God with our own intellect, it often limits our experience to what we can reason and understand.
and that's exactly what I was doing. Like I would go to church. I told you in the last video, like I would go to church super skeptical, and I would try to reason and try to understand everything, and it never worked. So I love this little nugget. I think it's super cool that Onyx is in it. This is like his first time in one of the vlogs. I need to integrate them more so that we have those memories. But yeah, I love these. I love these little pieces, and I just realized that and the whole time you were on my face. Yeah, these little pieces, I love. I love them. So let's watch it back and pick up on the other side.
Our imagination allows us to experience God in ways that go beyond our analytical mind. It helps us envision the beauty, the glory, and the mysteries of God. Through imagination, we can glimpse heavenly realities, cultivate a sense of awe and wonder, and open ourselves up to the fullness of God's presence.
Spiritual imagination is actually biblical.
So please light your fire, baby. Show me who you wanna be. Don't leave your ignition at my doorstep. At my doorstep.
Another week on this endless journey of pursuing the Lord. W's in the chat.
When you're always on my mind, this time around it's fine with me. Fine with me. Fine.
After last week's video went live, I had multiple people reach out to me and say, hey, Cody, if you want to start a Bible study, I'd be more than happy to help you with that, or I want to get involved with that. I've had people come and say, hey, I want to come alongside you on this journey of exploration and learning more about the God of the universe. And I didn't expect for all of this to happen so early, but if we're going to gather a group of people together, let's do it now. Let's gather a group of people together. So if that's something that interests you, simply send me an email or put a comment at the bottom of this video, and I'd be more than happy to reach out. We'll gather everybody together and see what the God of the universe has in store for all of us. I'll see you guys next week.
Flowers that bloom, wind up at the bottom of the ocean.
I don't know about you guys, but I am really feeling my music choices in this video. I don't know if it's just whatever. But yeah, I'm really feeling it. All of this, all of these sequences towards the end of this video, this B-roll of the cars leaving, of my wife and I doing a little dance on the McGriddle for the pancakes. All of this was just a lack of B-roll because I didn't shoot enough. Really, I'm just trying to get some filler content in there to get me to my close. And the close, actually, this whole spot, if I close, when I think of close, I think of like car sales, like closing people down, selling them something. But the end of the video, yeah, like I had multiple people reach out like about doing Bible studies, coming alongside doing Bible readings with me. So I'm kind of excited to see where that goes. Maybe it's not right now, maybe it is later. I don't know. I'm just gonna throw out some invitations and then press on those people a little bit and say, hey, like, do you want to do this for real? This is a really real thing. But yeah, that is vlog number 2, Godly Imagination. And I think that it glorifies God. I think that it did what it was supposed to do, even though it was a little rushed and the shot really wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. But that's another vlog in the can, and I'm excited to shoot this week's video. So we will be serving that up somewhere between now and Sunday. And yeah, all is well. If you guys need anything or whatever, let me know. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.